scientists, I guess it was like, what is it, the 50s or 60s? They paid them off to say that it was saturated fat was causing all these problems with people and all this obesity when it was really just sugar.
Yeah.
And the sugar scientists, these guys who got paid off, it wasn't much money. They got paid off like, I think it was like $50,000.
Well, in the 50s and 60s, that was a lot of money.
I'm sure. But I mean, but literally it's changed the way people look at nutrition forever, and no one's adjusted. I mean, a lot of people have that are in the know, but you have to be paying attention. You have to be reading books. You have to be talking to nutritionists and biologists and actual people that really understand what's going on for you to sort of make this shift in your perceptions. But a lot of people haven't. If you tell people you're on a carnivore diet, one of the first things they'll tell you is like, "Oh my God, what about all the saturated fat? What are you gonna do?
Yep.
You're gonna die.
You want the fat, actually.
Yeah.
You want that part. Well, the problem we have now is climate change is being used to remove all animals, and you cannot, look on Google News at all any day without seeing, we're now making chicken out of actual chicken cell cultures, and we do it in this big vat, and it's going to be even healthier than eating real chicken. And people are buying into this, brother. They are buying. Are you tired? Am I boring you already?
No, I'm not at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like, God.
Oh, that was a disgust look. Okay, I got you.
I just get.
It's happening.
Regenerative
it's really
agriculture. Regenerative agriculture is actually good. Like you can still buy food from regenerative farms, and those farms are operating at like a carbon neutral environment.
Well, I saw Will Harris. I've been to White Oaks pastures.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Really? You went to Georgia?
Yeah. The Beef Initiative had a meetup, and that's where you kind of, I'm just helping them out. It's not really a money making operation, but it's helping ranchers understand that there is a market that they can sell directly to a consumer. And it's teaching consumers who are interested that they can go to a rancher and get, basically the protein from the source. And what the Beef Initiative figured out early on is that who is interested in that is Bitcoiners, because Bitcoiners have money, they got Bitcoin, and they understand value, or they have a certain understanding of value, and they like to hang out and like to do meetups, and then you bring them together, and then you have some ranchers talk and the Bitcoiners talk. So now we have ranchers understanding Bitcoin, taking Bitcoin as payment, holding on to some of it, which can be very, very profitable in many cases.
In many cases.
Yeah, well, like last week I went to Cole, and I bought like a third of a cow, basically, all in cuts, and I paid in Bitcoin. And 2 days later, boom, he's got 20% extra value just because the price went up, and I was happy. I'm happy for him.
What is Bitcoin worth now? Has it shifted back up?
About 23,000. Mm-hmm.
So what was the high? The
high 70.
Wow,
mm-hmm.
That's a big drop.
Sure.
So if you bought in at 70, which many people did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got in at 4,000 during the pandemic. Because I think I told you I had
4,000. Really?
I had 65 Bitcoin that were given to me in like 2011, and somewhere around 2015 or 16, I'm like, holy shit, this is worth $900. Sell. So I sold it all. Oops. So that's not going to happen to me again. So when everything tanked during the pandemic, and so it was 4,000. Tina and I said, let's buy in, let's do this, and then we've been doing what's called daily cost average. So buy a little bit every single day, and you basically, it's like a savings account, and we only will spend it on literally on something like that. We just keep it, and we'll see. It's like we save dollars too, but this is kind of who knows? I mean, there's so much talk of. I mean, shit, even Elon Musk is probably going to be the guy who runs the money system. Once he has his X project all in place that he's doing with Twitter, the whole concept is to have that be your wallet. That's all of Silicon Valley wants to be your bank, and I think Elon is no exception.
But what do you mean by, like, what do you think he's planning?
Well, it will either be a coin that is specific to him, or just looking at his overall history, where things he does usually turns into a government project. maybe that's where the central bank digital currency comes in. I don't know. You know, we just had Brazil and Argentina decide that they're going to have the same money, and it will be a digital peso or whatever it's going to be, and that will probably be a completely controllable central bank digital currency, which is being implemented everywhere. And you know, the dollar would be the last one. I know that Elon seems a very good. That he's doing that. That's what his whole overall plan is. I think. You know, he's always said he wants to be like WeChat, and in China everything's on WeChat, including the government, who then can turn off your money if you've been a bad boy. Yeah, I think that's coming. So it's a bit of a hedge to have Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the only
I think we have
currency
to
that can do that.
with everything that we have.
Yeah,
The idea that there's a centralized digital currency connected to a social credit score system is absolutely fucking terrifying, because people self-censor already.
Yep.
They self-censor just because they're worried about other people's opinions. Like, that's what virtue signaling is all about. What virtue signaling is all about, virtue signaling is people sending out a signal on Twitter or social media to let everyone know that you're a good person. And, you know, a lot of those people are not really good people, but they want to send out that signal, and they're terrified about, you know, the repercussions of not being a good person.
So the only way I know to resist that is literally Bitcoin, and only Bitcoin.
Well, what I was getting at was that, like, that sort of self-censoring comes with no financial repercussions. What if you really want to get people to pay attention to what you're promoting and what you know, if you're the government and you're telling people to behave and think in a certain way and follow a certain ideology, if they're financially penalized for not following, which they are in China. Like, in China, if they stray from the path and, you know, criticize the government or criticize or talk shit about anything, like, you can't fucking buy plane tickets. You're not going anywhere.
Well, arguably, this is already happening in the United States. If you run a weed store or any other type of, or, you know, if you have a website that is considered, you know, too conservative, too crazy, QAnon, whatever, then you can't get a bank account. You can't use any of the payment systems. They literally debank you, so you can't receive money. And I think the self-censoring comes from that. Certainly, advertising related. If you have a podcast or you do anything with advertising, you know, that is a wedge. You know, people will go after your advertisers and use that as a wedge. Well, you know what that's like. To bring you down. And so it's already kind of here, and that's not a good thing. You know, we have to resist that.
Yeah, we have to resist that.